Hi, everyone. It's my great pleasure to interview Colleen and Kathy Carlson, the CC twins. And I just got to say, they're out there in Silver City, New Mexico. How are you, ladies?
Oh, wonderful.
Great.
Thank you, Plastic. Thank you for having us on your show. We're so honored.
It's a pleasure. The honor's all mine. I just got to ask you, where's Silver City?
The home of Billy the Kid.
That's fantastic, ladies. Now, I've got to tell you, you're into country music, you're songwriters, and you've toured with Elvis J. Jr. So tell me all about this. Everybody out there's fascinated about your lives. So just tell me all about this country music and stuff. I love it.
Well, our grandfather, Frank, he was a violinist. He actually worked in the coal mines in Pennsylvania to save up for this violin. And he ended up in the New York Symphony New York Symphony concert playing violin. So it was excellent. And so that's where we got our musical roots from my grandfather, Frank Arskazuski.
Fantastic. Now, I know you're identical twins. Tell me about that. When you were born, how many minutes apart are you?
We're 7 minutes apart. And Kathy came out first, but she pushed her way out. So I turned blue. So I was a blue baby. And I had to get the prayers from the priest and everything.
We both did, yeah.
But
we were only 2 pounds each. They were plastic. We were little preemies. We were like Barbie dolls. We were so small.
Ladies,
we didn't even have noses. We were 2 pounds each. 2 pounds.
So even if you put us together, we would have been preemies.
That's a fascinating facts there. I just got to ask you, is it true that with twins, you've got like this telepathic vibe going between you? One knows what the other one does or something like that?
Yes, this is exactly true. As a matter of fact, my sister, she was working at Yale in Connecticut, in the library.
University. Yes.
Well, you tell the story, Colleen.
Oh, and then I went to distribute food and clothing to the poor in Monterrey, Mexico, Mexico City, and Guatemala. And I was meditating on the pyramid of the sun. And my sister was concerned because I hadn't sent any messages back home where I was. So I sent her a mental postcard. And I said, I'm meditating on the pyramid of the sun. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'll send you a real postcard and let you know when I'm going to be back.
So immediately I received that because amazingly, I had gone to bed that night and my grandmother was concerned about Colleen. And I said, don't worry about it. I'll just go to sleep and I'll dream about it and I'll find out where she was. Now, when I said this, I didn't really realize that this would really happen. But you say things and they happen, so you got to really be careful what you say. This is what happened. So I called my grandmother and said, I got a dream, and Colleen's going to send you a postcard in 3 days. And she received the postcard in 3 days. So that's one of our stories. We have lots of them.
Yeah, many.
Can I also ask you, I'm just curious now, growing up, if one of you fell over and hurt yourself, did the other one sort of feel that they had a bit of pain too? I'm just curious.
Well, yes, my sister was in the military. We were both in the military. We both joined the United States Air Force, as a matter of fact, at the same time. So you couldn't imagine how that would have confused our major, who was in charge of our platoon at the time. But my sister was in Reno. Were you in Reno when you had the ski accident? And
Park City, Utah,
and I felt the pain, and I knew something was wrong. And she dislocated both her knees, and it was very painful for me. So I knew something happened. So
that's unbelievable. Now
I tore my medial.
Getting onto the country music now. Tell me how you fell into country music and how you started writing songs. It's very important.
Well, my dad and my mom were amateur dancers. Louise was my mom, and Edward was my dad. And they used to square dance too. And we used to go to the square dancing halls down by the Scannick River back in Connecticut, because we're originally from the East Coast. And so, and my dad loved music, and he even had his own. He was a singer, actually. He was in the Air Force. He was in Guam, and he entered a competition in Japan. And he didn't win, but he had a lot of fun. So he came back, and he shared Japanese with us, which was pretty interesting. And we never knew we'd end up in Japan with Elvis Presley Jr. But after my dad passed away, I had a dream that Elvis came to me. Well, actually, I saw my dad, and I asked my dad, hey, can you help my music career and connect me with Elvis, since you were such a big fan? So he said, sure. And I was like, okay. And then Elvis came in my dream, and he said, yeah, no problem. What do you want? And I'm like, can you help my music career? He goes, yeah, sure, no problem. And he left. Well, 4 months later, my sister and I were singing one of our songs, which is Whoop-de-Doo. It says, put on your cowboy jersey and your big bunny shoes. It's a big town party down doing nothing. Whoop-de-doo. And then it talks about calling get Home Shopping Network on the line and get a life-size Elvis for $9.95. And he loved it because we sent him an audition tape. And us being twins, so we got to go on tour with him. And not only that, we ended up knowing the person who gave us the hint about Elvis was looking for backup singers, and he wanted blondes. He wanted at least sisters that looked alike. And so we knew it was legitimate because our friend worked for NASCAR, and he also worked with Elvis Presley legitimately on a film on Speedway. So we knew it was legitimate, but we just kind of cracked up. When people say Elvis Presley Jr., you just don't take it seriously. But once you hear his voice, you know that has to be genetic.
He does not have to make it up. He's naturally just speaks
and sings. And
sings.
His whole persona is the same.
Mm-hmm.
He even likes donuts. I mean, everything's
everything, the same food.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him being interviewed on TV. Fascinating stuff.
Well, see, he did have a blood test, and it did prove, and he could legally use the name Elvis Aaron Presley Jr. and on his passport, and he even showed us it. So legally he could. And he said he was going to come out with a film to prove DNA was the same. But unfortunately, I don't think, well, it's hard to raise money for film projects, so I don't know if it ever happened. But I definitely want it to come out because I believe it's true. And my sister does as well, especially after touring with him, you know.
And what was his connection with Sun Records as well?
I don't know. He did have some connections
he
to
had
Sun
a card
Records.
that said Sun Records.
Oh, he called himself Sun Records S-O-N, not S-U-N.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because he had also been adopted, and he was a circus entertainer. So
a lion tamer.
He was into big cats and everything. So he didn't even know he was related to Elvis until he was 21, and Elvis had already passed. So Colonel Parker ended up sending him a letter. And he used to put it on the screen when we were in concert with him, and it would apologize for not letting him know he was his son sooner, because they had to wait till he was 21 because he was with adopted parents, and they made that agreement.
Can I ask you now with the songwriting, how easy do you write songs?
Well, they usually come to me about 3 or 4 in the morning, so if I'm ambitious, I get up and I take my recorder and do it. But yeah, it comes between sleep and non-sleep.
Yeah, I got up last week at 4 o'clock and I wrote down 100 song ideas. And they're not complete songs, but they can be incorporated into some songs together. But I started writing and I could not put the pen down till 4 hours later, and I had 100.
So it's a stream. You really are tapping into that universal stream. Once in a while, people come up with similar songs or similar song styles, and it's part of the creative process. And somehow you're tapping into it, and you're just fortunate. Of course, we believe in copywriting, of course. But I'm just saying sometimes it's just a universal thing that's going on, and people are all gravitating towards the same kind of music at the same time. So hopefully you hit it at the right time.
Do you know when most of my best songs come? They come when I'm driving a car. It's like Willie Nelson. He wrote his best songs when he was driving a car, he said.
Oh, that's interesting. I never heard that
Well,
before.
we have written a song together called One Nation.
We did.
And we wrote it for the Navajo Nation and the Code Talkers that we had passed on. But we are all one nation. It's about that. And we wrote that in a car.
Yeah,
on the
now that
highway
you
in
mention
California.
it, yeah, we did, we did.
Yeah, we did.
And we made it into a music video, and it came on to the Sedona Now channel in Arizona.
And it played 24/7.
Yeah.
We
also did it to commemorate 9/11 as well.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. It was fantastic. I've got to ask you now, ladies, can you tell everyone where they can find your music, your website, your Facebook page? Just go through all that.
Oh, certainly. Okay. Well, they can check out Kathleen C.C. Carlson's music publishing site, because I also have a music publishing site with our songs on it. So it's called Music, MUSIC, and then T-O, My, M-Y, Ears, E-A-R-S, Pub. It's computer pub, but it stands for publishing.com. That's the music publishing site, because we're going to be listing all our showcases on there, upcoming showcases, once everything loosens up a little bit with restrictions. So, and we're going to do things. We're going to do YouTube videos, you guys. So we're going to
Zoom.
We heard Zoom is the best for that now.
Uh-huh.
That's fantastic. I got to say, I saw your video and I was blown away. I just got to tell you, fantastic voice.
Oh, thank you. Now, which one were you referring to? Which song? The country, the patriotic.
Stars and Stripes.
Oh, okay. It was patriotic. Yeah, that was done in Nashville. That was done by somebody who worked with Colin Ray and did all his videos. Even though he'd done it in a while back, but he's very talented videographer. And I love all that old footage that they got in there. I don't know how they did that.
That was beautiful.
It was a patriotic song, I think. As a matter of fact, I believe it was Barbara Bush sent a letter stating that she loved the song as well. And it has been performed by for the troops, by the Dyer's Daughters. And so you could see that they were real appreciative of that in the video.
Now, Colleen and Kathy, I've got to ask you, you've obviously met a lot of country music stars. Who have you met?
Tim McGraw and Faith Hill at the same time. That was the most interesting. It was just before they were actually engaged, and then the announcement came out. And when I met Faith Hill, I met her in the back, and she asked me my name. I said my name was Kathleen, and she said, "Great, I'm going to remember that." And she named her first daughter Grace Catherine McGraw. So I thought, well, I wonder if she remembered that, because we were talking backstage and she said she'd remember me. I don't know, but I thought that was pretty cool. So we just saw them recently in Phoenix, Arizona, and they were amazing, but they're not turned together now again, separate. But yeah, and then we saw Blake Shelton, and we got to go to a VIP with him, and he performed acoustically on stage, and we were only like 10 feet from him. It was amazing. And Tim McGraw, not Tim McGraw, and also Trace Atkins. Trace Atkins is amazing too, and he tours with Blake Shelton a lot.
I'm a big Mike
But
Nesmith
Faith Hill,
fan.
Excuse me, what was that? I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm a big Michael Nesmith fan.
Oh, all right. Oh, that's so cool. So cool. Who's your favorite country artist here in the States?
I got to say, I love Dolly Parton and I love Willie Nelson.
Oh, wow. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually know people, even in Silver City, who've written songs for Dolly Parton. So, yeah, so you never know where you're going to find talented songwriters. They come walking into our shop a lot in Silver City from Nashville and all over the place. And we're like, wow, all right. How'd you find us? They don't even know.
Well, I've got to say, ladies, I've actually written over 2,000 songs. My songwriting partner from 1981, he passed away 2 years ago, and we amassed 2,000 original songs.
Well, I'd love to hear some of them because a couple of our songs are going to the moon. SpaceX is actually going to bury them. Not this one today, but the next, hopefully, SpaceX.
It was supposed to be done in January, but then with the...
We got delayed with COVID.
Yeah.
But we hope it still will. We have 2 songs going to be buried on the moon with the space lander when they go up, hopefully at the end of the year.
Which one?
They're called Even the Angels Knew, that I co-wrote, and also Girls Will Be Girls and Boys Will Be Toys. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I did a song called All American Country and Western Superstar. I may have sent you the video. My wife and I sing it, and we're in a bus in Arizona on the way to the Grand Canyon, and we do the video clip. So if anyone goes to YouTube, they can look up Country and Western, All American Country and Western Superstar by the EPs. And like That's Real Country, it makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I think I sent it to you.
Wow. I can't wait to listen to it.
That would be great.
You got to send me some songs because you don't know. Maybe we could get them on the moon. You never know.
I reckon my songs will be going to Mars. I reckon my songs will be going to Mars.
All right.
I got to say, I love you, girls. You're just so great. So what we're going to do is, thank you a lot from Plastic EP here in Australia, and thank you so much for this interview. I'm sure everyone's going to love this. Just say a goodbye to everyone out there. Give them a message before we say goodbye.
Well, adios from the Southwest. We're wanting to get down under with you guys, and we're doing it with the plastic. Yay!
Yay! Woohoo!
Thanks again, ladies. It was a real hoot. I loved it. See ya.
All right. Take care. Talk to you again.